The world of tabletop role-playing games is going through a massive and, frankly, very exciting shakeup. For decades, one name has been king, the one that's basically become shorthand for fantasy and adventure, Dungeons and Dragons. It's the system most of us cut our teeth on, the culture giant that dragged TTRPG out of the basement and into the spotlight. But things are changing. Players and GMs are starting to get curious, looking for something more, or maybe just something different. And if you're watching this, you're probably one of them. So, what are you waiting for? Are you a D&D player who's hungry for deeper, more tactical combat and character options that scroll on forever? Or are you ready to toss the dense rulebooks aside for a game that's all about collaborative, cinematic storytelling? The TTRPG world is bigger than it's ever been, and today we're comparing the three titans everyone's talking about. The household name, D&D, the tactical behemoth, Pathfinder, and the narrative newcomer, Daggerheart. We're going to help you figure out which one of these systems deserves to reign supreme at your table. We'll cover everything from building your character to the chaos of battle, giving you the full picture. So grab some dice and let's get started. Every great adventure starts with a hero, and how a game lets you build that hero tells you almost everything you need to know about the experience you're about to have. Dungeons & Dragons, especially with the 2024 Player's Handbook, is all about streamlined and accessible creation. You pick a species, a class, a subclass, and a background, and you're pretty much ready to roll. The 2024 rules have smartly put more weight on backgrounds, trying your ability, score, and a new origin fit to your character's backstory, which is a great way to blend mechanics and story. D&D's biggest strength is its iconic archetypes. A fighter feels like a fighter, a wizard feels like a wizard. It's powerful and easy to grasp, but that simplicity can sometimes feel a little restrictive, and if you're trying to build something outside the box, your biggest decision happens at specific levels, but the path between them is mostly set for you. Now, if you're a kind of player who has a spreadsheet for every character idea and loves to fine-tune every single detail of your build, then say hello to Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Pathfinder is famous for its absolutely staggering depth of customization. Where D&D gives you a big choice every few levels, Pathfinder gives you meaningful choices at every single level. You're constantly picking from a huge list of ancestry feats, skill feats, and class feats. This means you can build a character that is truly mechanically unique. Your champion can be wildly different from your friend's champion, not just in flavor, but in how they actually play. Pathfinder 2nd Edition Remaster has polished the system even further, cleaning up rules and making it more robust. The only catch? All that freedom comes with the complexity. Building a character is an involved process that can be pretty intimidating for newcomers. Then you've got Daggerheart, the new kid on the block from the Return Press. Here, character creation is less about optimizing your stats and more about crafting your character's story. You choose a class like a Guardian or a Seraph, and mix it with a subclass and a community that roots your character in the world. The real magic is how your character is built with a hand of cards representing your abilities. It's a wonderful tactile and visual way to see what your character can do. Instead of just picking from list, you're building a hand that reflects who you are, where you are from, and what you can do. It's an elegant system that's laser focused on getting you to think about your character's story from the get-go. The dice are the engine of the game, and these three systems are driving in completely different directions. D&D 5e is powered by the classic D20 system. You roll a 20-sided die, add your modifier and try to hit a target number. Its signature mechanic is advantage and disadvantage, where you roll 2d20s and take the better or worse result. It's clean, it's simple, and it gives you a clear answer. You either succeed or you fail. There's a reason the system is the foundation of modern TTRPGs. It's intuitive and keeps the game moving at a good clip. The 2020 rules have cleaned up the presentation, but the core D20 role is still the heart of D&D. Pathfinder 2nd edition also uses a D20, but it builds a far more granular and tactical game around it. The math is much tighter, meaning the small +2 or +1 bonuses are a huge deal. But the real star of the show is the degree of success system. Instead of just success or failure, every roll can have one of 4 outcomes: a critical success, a failure, or a critical failure. Usually, beating a target number by 10 gets you a crit, and failing by 10 is a critical fumble. This adds an incredible layer of drama to every single roll. A simple sword swing can become a devastating blow that throws your enemy off balance, or a clumsy miss that sends your weapon flying. It might make every roll feel dynamic and consequential. And then Daggerheart comes along and throws the D20 out the window for its brilliant duality dice system. When you do something, you roll 2 12-sided dice, a hope die and a fear die. To succeed, you need to beat the target number with the sum of both your dice. But the genius is how you succeed. This creates 4 possible outcomes: success with hope, success with fear, failure with hope, or failure with fear. Rolling hope gives your players a resource they can spend on cool abilities, while rolling with fear gives the GM a resource they can use to introduce complications and story twists. It's a fantastic idea. Every single roll, whether it hits or misses, pushes the story forward in a meaningful way. It totally eliminates the dead-end feeling of a simple "I miss" and turns every action into a new story beat. Alright, we're about to get into the heart of any adventure game, combat. But before we do, if this breakdown is helping you figure out your next TTRPG obsession, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives. And I really want to know what you think. What's the single most important thing a TTRPG needs to get right for you? Let me know down in the comments below. This is where you can really see the design philosophies of these games clash. D&D Combat is the blockbuster action movie of the TTRPG world. It's usually played on a grid, it's tactical, and it's built around a simple action economy. You get an action, a bonus action, and a movement. It finds a nice middle ground between strategy and fast-paced fun. You always know whose turn it is and what your options are, making it easy to pull off these big, heroic moments. The 2024 rules have continued to tweak class balance and monster design to make fights as exciting as possible. The only downside is that for some groups, combat can start to feel a little samey. A cycle of trading hits until one side's health bar hits 0. Pathfinder 2nd edition, on the other hand, is built for the master strategist. It's less action movie and more tactical wargame. The entire system is built around its fantastic 3-action economy. On your turn, you get 3 actions. and you can spend them on literally anything. Move 3 times, attack 3 times with a penalty on each extra attack, or, more likely, mix it up with attacks, movement, and special actions, like demoralizing an enemy, raising your shield, or tripping someone. The system is a genuine game changer. It creates a massive number of tactical choices and makes teamwork absolutely essential. Positioning, weakening your enemies, and setting up your friends are just as important as swinging your sword. Fights in Pathfinder are famously tough, but that makes winning them feel incredibly rewarding. Daggerheart looks at combat and asks a different question. How would this scene play out in a movie? There's no initiative order. Instead, the GM and players pass the spotlight back and forth, creating a flowing conversational scene. A player says what they want to do, they roll their duality dice, and the result shapes what happens next. A success with fear could mean you land your attack, but now the enemy general sees you as a personal threat. Combat is less about chipping away at hit points and more about driving the story forward. The whole system is designed to be cinematic, dramatic, and emotionally charged. It won't satisfy someone looking for a crunchy crit-based battle, but if you want your fights to feel like a dynamic part of the story, it's total revelation. Let's not forget the most important person at the table, the one running the game. How do these systems treat the game master? GMing D&D 5e is all about creativity within a flexible sandbox. The rules gives you structure, but the game actively encourages you to make rulings, not rules. The Dungeon Master's Guide is packed with tools, but a lot of work for balancing encounters and prepping the story falls squarely on the Game Master's shoulders. Thankfully, there are tons of official pre-written adventures to help out. The new 2024 DMG is designed to make world building and adventure crafting even more intuitive for GMs. GMing Pathfinder 2nd edition is a whole different animal. The system's incredibly tight math, detailed rules actually do a lot of heavy lifting for you. The encounter building guidelines are legendary for their accuracy. If the book says a fight is going to be severe, you better believe your players are going in for a serious challenge. This makes prepping for a session incredibly reliable. You can trust the math, and because there are rules for almost everything, there's less pressure to invent things on the spot. The flip side is that the GM have to know, or at least be able to quickly find a lot of rules. It's a more technical job, but it's supported by one of the best engineered systems out there. Daggerheart is built from the ground up to be a collaborative experience, and that completely redefines the GM's role. You aren't the sole storyteller, you are the co-creator, building a world alongside your players. Your main tool is the fear mechanic, which gives you a structured way to introduce complications that feel earned, not arbitrary. It ties your narrative moves directly to the player's dice rolls. This lightens the prep load quite a bit, because the system is designed to create unexpected story hooks on its own. It's a perfect fit for a GM who loves to improvise and is willing to let go of the rigid plot, and it can lead to some of the most surprising and memorable stories you'll ever tell. Finally, how do these games help you tell a great story? In D&D, storytelling is a balance of 3 pillars: combat, exploration, and social interaction. The system gives you a great framework, but the narrative is mostly driven by the GM's world and the player's choices. Role-playing is encouraged, but Aside from skill checks, these aren't many mechanics directly tied to it. It's a perfect sandbox for all kinds of epic fantasy, from gritty dungeon crawls to sweeping political sagas with the GM firmly in the director's chair. Pathfinder's detailed rules can, perhaps surprisingly, be a massive boost for storytelling. The huge number of non-combat skills and feats means you can create a character who is mechanically built to be a master diplomat, a brilliant detective, or a world-class survivalist. These skills have clear defined rules, so investing in them gives you a real tangible way to impact the story outside of a fight. This lets players drive the narrative forward using their characters' unique talents in a really satisfying way. Daggerheart at its very core is a story-first game. The mechanics are explicitly designed to create a compelling narrative. The hope and fear system makes sure that every single roll has a consequence that moves the story forward. Players are even mechanically encouraged to help create the world by defining details about people and places. The system empowers players to directly shape the narrative, moving beyond just describing their actions to actively influencing the story's direction. It's built to create character-driven cinematic tales where the line between player and storyteller gets beautifully blurred. So, after all that, which TTRPG reigns supreme? You probably saw this coming, but there's no single best game. The supreme system is whichever one is best fit for your table. Let's break it down one last time. If you love the classic feel of high fantasy, want a great game that's easy to pick up but has enough meat to stay interesting, and enjoy a solid balance of combat and roleplay, then Dungeons & Dragons is your champion. It's the most popular TTRPG in the world for a reason, and the 2024 updates makes it more welcoming than ever. If you're a tactician at heart, a player who loves digging into character customization, making meaningful choices every level, and overcoming brutally challenging combat through smarts and teamwork, then you owe it to yourself to play Pathfinder 2nd Edition. It's a complex but deeply rewarding system for anyone who loves to master the rules to achieve victory. And if you're a storyteller first and foremost, someone who craves cinematic action, narrative freedom, and a truly collaborative game where every dice roll sends the story spinning in a new and exciting directions, then the newcomer Daggerheart might just be your new favorite game. It's bold, fresh take on fantasy that pulls your character and their story front and center. The best way to know for sure is to try them out. So get your friends together and talk about what you want from your next great adventure and get rolling. Thanks for watching and happy gaming!